which actually I need to figure that out, don't I? Okay, but let's start. First of all, for your warm-up, you need to know that your answer may be different than mine, but if you can support it and basically convince me that that's a reasonable thought, then I can go, okay, yeah, I get that, and then it'll be okay. Only put one answer. Do not list them all hoping you get something right. Okay? So I listed more because these are other ones that I just thought of. But you put your one and you support it. Now, if you have something different than me, then let me know and we'll talk about it and see if it's valid. All right. Also, the warm-up did not specify to put down the strategy, the sampling method, but you need to be able to do that. I should have made sure that was that way. So let's talk through that as we go through this. Okay, the first one is the poll on the news and then you call in. Okay, so that's pretty obviously a voluntary response sample because you are what? You're taking the effort to call in, and always when you have a voluntary response sample, voluntary response bias will go hand in hand with that because only those who feel strongly about the issue will take the effort to call in. Okay, you could have also supported under coverage because I think you're leaving out a whole lot of people if you're doing that little thing on the news because only a certain portion of the population is going to watch the local news. I don't. I haven't watched TV since I don't know when. Actually, though, I occasionally watch the Rangers or the track of it. Anyway, so, I mean, even before school started, I said, oh, bye, Candy Crush. It's been nice. I'll see you next summer. Okay, so I don't have a life, during the school year. So I would not have had the opportunity to even give my opinion because I would not have seen it on the local news. Hey, anybody put any other on that? Okay. I did get some people saying non-response. Anybody choose non-response? Okay. Why did you choose non-response? Okay. So that is not the reason. Okay. So that is not the correct reasoning for a non-response. So let me clear up. Okay. So let me clear up the exact way that you need to support your answer if it's non-response. Okay, you ready? A non-response bias is because too few responses are occurring to get an accurate or a reasonable depiction of the population. Too few, because you were able to get too few responses. That's non-response bias. Okay? It's not because people chose to not call in or whatever. Okay? It's too small of a sample to be able to get an accurate or reasonable description of the population. That's non-response. Okay. Next, here we go. Hold a PTA meeting at each of the 20 elementary schools. I like that. At each of the 20, you're attempting to make sure you include everybody or all types of parents, and you tally the opinions expressed by those who attended the meeting. This one could go all over the place as far as what you think it could be. I would not have chosen stratify as the method, even though it does say that they went to each of the 20 elementary schools, because even though they went to 20 of the elementary schools, more importantly, I mean, this caused an issue. The fact that it was convenience or voluntary response, and I'm going to tell you why it's which one or whatever. Okay? I think that's more of a prevalent concern. So, I wouldn't have put in stratify. Although you could have said something like, even though they attempted to get all types with the stratifying, undercoverage still occurred because they took a whatever. Okay. So here's how I tell the difference between choosing convenience or voluntary response. I think both could apply. I think it depends how the meeting was called. Here, let me explain. Okay, now hear this. 7 o'clock Monday morning is a PTA, Monday evening is a PTA meeting. 7 o'clock Monday evening is a PTA meeting. Okay, and then when we're all there, I go, oh, thank you parents and teachers for all coming. Oh, by the way, since you are here, I'm going to get your opinion on this. So I'm taking the convenience of you being here in this form to take, so that's convenience. Because, oh, by the way, since you're here, I'm going to take your information. All right, now here's the other. Ready? Now hear this. Monday at 7 o'clock p.m. is a PTA meeting to discuss the local school board testing policy. Now hear this. Monday at 7 is a PTA meeting to discuss the local school board testing policy. Then what's going to happen? If I care about that, then what am I going to do? I'm going to go. So because I knew what it was about, then I am voluntarily placing myself at that meeting. Okay? All right. So I think it kind of depends on how was this meeting, represented or presented to you. Did you know that they were going to take that opinion thing or not? Okay. Does that make sense? That's why I think you could call it one way or the other. Okay, any other questions? Or any other thoughts on what kind of, and then of course under coverage, it's always going to be that because are you getting all kinds of parents? No. You're getting like the very involved, educationally active, caring, concerned, that can attend. Maybe, people care, but they can't because they're working. Okay. Next one, C. Select one class at each elementary school and then contact all of those parents. I think that the key here is that they are getting something from all of the elementary schools. So primarily, this is a stratification. They are attempting to get all types. Now they might have failed in that because they just selected one class. They clustered by class. Okay. So here's an issue. Do you think there's an issue? I put that it sounds fairly strong in the classes. If sounds fairly strong if the classes selected give a good representation of the population, and then there's follow-up to make sure you get a response from all those parents. Okay. How could this not have happened? How could a good representation not have happened? Do you think that's possible? I don't know. What do you think? Okay. But I think like at elementary, it's like by homeroom, So like they would be kindergarten. Oh man, that's my attendance. Okay. So it'd be kindergarten or whatever. Okay. So, but even then, do you think the parents of a kindergarten class have the same opinion about mandated testing as the parents of a 5th grade class? Maybe not. I kind of think maybe not. That's a big difference. Okay, so I think there's a potential for, what would that be called? Yeah, I think there's a potential for under coverage because even though you attempted to get all things covered, the fact that it's kindergarten, if you got all kindergarten classes, that might not be representative of all the things. Okay. But I think that it has a potential to be strong. Maybe if you just made sure that you got different grade levels. Okay. D. Go through the district's enrollment and select every 40th parent. Okay. Yay, that's easy. Every 40th is systematic. Boom, done on that. But let's discuss the second thing. PTA volunteers are going to go interview people. That's the key. The guy in the trench coat on our interviewing video who went around to all those people. What's the potential problem there? Yeah, response bias. So I put, sounds good as long as the questions are worded correctly and the interviewers have been trained to guard against response bias. Now I added this little thing down here about non-response, but I guess technically that's with anything. So I think that Bob's second one's kind of weak. But hey, anybody put anything else? Okay. So again, now I got questions all day about this. On your quiz, some people said, "Can we just put one word, like a convenient sample or 2 words, whatever?" I said, yes, you can. Now, if your answer is the same as mine, then it's fine. But if your answer is different than mine, then I'm going to mark it wrong. But if your answer is different than mine and you kind of supported it and convinced me that yours is a good thing, then I could give you credit for that. So if you don't support it, you are running the risk of it being wrong and not getting credit. Okay? But if you feel strongly that it's stratified, then boom, whatever. That's your choice.